The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill.
Candace Owens has just detonated the most dangerous revelation of her career. A bombshell so explosive that even her biggest critics are admitting this might not just be politics anymore. This might be life or death. In a chilling broadcast that is already flooding TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, Candace didn't just hint at corruption. She flat out accused the FBI of framing political figures, silencing dissent, and controlling the narrative of national events. And she swore she has the receipts to prove it. Her voice wasn't loud and triumphant this time. It wasn't the fiery Candace Owens we're used to seeing spar with critics on stage. No, this was something darker, something heavier, something terrifying. Her tone shook as she leaned into the microphone and said, "If I disappear, it will not be an accident. It will not be bad luck. It will be because the FBI is terrified of what I know." Within minutes, the internet went into chaos. Hashtags like hashtag FBI exposed, hashtag Owens knows, and hashtag Framegate shot to the top of trending lists. Twitter erupted with side-by-side clips comparing Candace to Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, even whistleblowers who vanished after trying to pull back the curtain. Her supporters said this was the moment she crossed from commentator to martyr. Her critics accused her of reckless fear, but nobody could look away. And then came the most haunting part. Candace smirked for a split second, looked directly into the camera, and whispered, "I have the files. If they touch me, the world will see them." The room went silent. Her chat flooded with panic. Fans begged her to stop. Enemies laughed nervously. But everyone watching felt the same thing in their chest. This wasn't hype. This wasn't theater. This was Candace Owens putting her life on the line. And now the only question that matters is this: what's in those files? And will she survive long enough to release them? Candace Owens didn't just stumble into this storm by accident. Her war with the establishment, and especially with the FBI, has been building for years. And to truly understand why her latest bombshell feels like the most dangerous move of her career, we need to rewind the tape and look at the path that led her here. Because this isn't just a single outburst. This is the climax of a battle she's been fighting for nearly a decade. Candace has always thrived in controversy. From her earliest viral clips, she built her brand on one simple principle: say the things others are too afraid to say. She was blunt, unapologetic, and confrontational, land that earned her both an army of supporters and a legion of enemies. But in the early years, Candace's firepower was aimed mostly at political opponents, not government agencies. That all changed when she started questioning the role of federal institutions in shaping narratives. Her suspicion toward the FBI didn't appear overnight. For years, she called out what she saw as blatant bias, accusing the Bureau of protecting some political figures while destroying others. She coined phrases like "the FBI isn't law enforcement, it's law manipulation," and warned her audience that the Bureau was being weaponized against dissent. At the time, critics dismissed her words as overblown theatrics. But her base listened. They believed her. And now, after her latest confession, they're saying she was right all along. Her connection to Charlie Kirk only deepened this distrust. Together, Candace and Kirk became two of the most recognizable young conservative voices in America, building Turning Point USA into a powerhouse brand. They were inseparable at rallies, on stages, and in viral clips where they went toe-to-toe with liberal activists. Their partnership was strong, but it also made them prime targets. So when Kirk was suddenly caught in a violent shooting incident that authorities called random, Candace didn't buy it for a second. On live streams and podcasts, she asked questions nobody wanted asked. Why were the security cameras conveniently down? Why did witnesses' stories keep changing? Why did the FBI insert themselves so quickly into the investigation, only to close it without answers? She looked into the camera and told her audience, "Do not believe this was random. They're lying to you." From that moment, her relationship with the FBI turned from hostility to all-out war. Behind the scenes, whispers began to reach her. Anonymous text messages, encrypted emails, insiders claiming to work in government who warned her, "You're not wrong, but be careful." They don't like people asking these questions. At first, she dismissed them as trolls. But as the months went on, the messages got darker. One source allegedly sent her a heavily redacted memo that hinted at surveillance. Operations targeting political influencers, including her. Candace began collecting everything: screenshots, messages, documents, notes. And, according to her, she now has an archive that proves beyond speculation that the FBI wasn't just watching her, was actively plotting to frame her and others like her. And that brings us to today, when Candace, visibly shaken but determined, finally admitted on camera what she's been sitting on. "I have names. I have documents. I have proof. And if anything happens to me, those files will go public." Her fans erupted in shock. Critics rolled their eyes. But even they noticed something was different this time. This wasn't Candace Owens delivering a punchline for applause. This was a woman staring into the abyss, fully aware that she may not walk back out. And now, with every second that passes, the stakes are getting higher. Because if she's telling the truth, and the FBI isn't just her enemy, the enemy of anyone who dares to speak out. And as the tension builds, one terrifying question lingers. Is Candace Owens about to unleash the biggest scandal in modern American history? Or is she about to become its next casualty? Candace Owens didn't wait long to escalate. After dropping her initial warning that the FBI was framing people, she lit the match that turned this controversy into an inferno. The major conflict began during a late-night livestream that would end up drawing close to 1 million viewers in real time and millions more in re-uploads across social media. Candace appeared on screen in an uncharacteristically plain outfit. No glam makeup, no blazer, just a black hoodie. The lighting was dim. She leaned into the microphone, her expression dead serious, and said the words that sent shockwaves across the internet. The FBI has been planting evidence. They've been framing individuals for crimes they didn't commit. I'm not speculating that I have the proof, and if anything happens to me, those files will go public. The chat exploded instantly, messages racing faster than the screen could register. Some fans screamed, "Drop IT now." Others begged her to stay safe, terrified that even speaking those words could cost her everything. Critics in the chat mocked her. But their tone wasn't as sharp as usual, because even her enemies could hear the fear in her voice. And then came the first twist, an alleged leak that nobody expected. Within an hour of her livestream, a mysterious Twitter account called JusticeLeaker88 dropped screenshots of what appeared to be FBI memos. One memo, allegedly dated months before the Charlie Kirk shooting, read, "Owens and Kirk's influence requires monitoring. Use media pressure. Explore frame options if narratives escalate." The screenshots spread like wildfire. Telegram groups reposted them. Reddit threads dissected every word. TikTok edits overlaid the memo with ominous music, gaining millions of views. Were they real? No one could say. But the timing, dropping immediately after Candace's livestream, was too perfect to ignore. Too perfect to ignore. Candace herself didn't confirm or deny the leaks. Instead, she tweeted 3 words that sent chills through her followers. "You're getting warmer." That single tweet was retweeted over 100,000 times in under an hour. And then things spiraled further. Another leak surfaced, this time an audio recording. The muffled clip, allegedly from a phone tap, featured two distorted male voices. The recording was fuzzy, but one line was chillingly clear. "If she talks, we discredit her. If that doesn't work, we escalate." The clip went viral instantly. Fans swore it was real. Critics said it was but again, the silence from the FBI was deafening. No comment. No denial. Nothing. And in scandals like this, silence always speaks louder than words. Meanwhile, Candace doubled down. She told her audience, "Don't let them tell you I'm crazy. Don't let them tell you I'm lying. If I vanish, remember this moment. Remember everything." The internet fractured overnight. Hashtags like #OwensVs, FBI, and #they rewatching her dominated timelines. Supporters turned her into a martyr in waiting, while critics accused her of reckless fear-mongering. But everyone agreed on one thing. This was no longer just talk. Something had shifted, and then, just as the frenzy began to peak, Candace posted a final tweet before disappearing offline for the night. Tick. Tock. That single phrase turned the controversy into a countdown. People began refreshing her accounts every hour, waiting for the file she promised to drop. Forums filled with speculation. Did she already send it to trusted allies? Would it auto-release if she went dark? Was this all leading to a nuclear-level data dump? No one knew. But the fear was real. Because if Candace was telling the truth, then this wasn't just her battle, it was a direct confrontation between one of the most powerful institutions in America and a single woman willing to risk everything to expose them. And as the world held its breath, the stage was set for the next devastating reveal. The escalation hit like a hurricane. If Candace Owens' late-night stream was a spark, the days that followed were a full-blown wildfire, devouring every corner of the internet, every newsroom, every political circle. And the shocking reveal she dropped next didn't just raise eyebrows. It shattered the narrative wide open. Candace reappeared 2 nights later. This time, her live stream broke records. Over 1 million people watching simultaneously. Millions more tuning in to pirated re-uploads across TikTok and Rumble. She didn't waste time. She leaned forward, her face pale but her eyes burning, and said, "They told me to stop. They told me I was risking everything. But I can't stop. Because I have the file. And if they touch me, the world will see it. And let me tell you right now, the Charlie Kirk shooting. It wasn't random. They knew." The chat exploded. You could almost hear the collective gasp across the internet. People clipped her words immediately, blasting them across social media with hashtags like #NotRandom and #KirkCoverUp. Some called it her bravest moment ever. Others called it a dangerous lie. But no one could ignore her anymore. And then the leaks began again, this time, even darker. A Telegram channel claiming to be connected to Candace's allies posted screenshots of what looked like FBI chat logs. In one, an alleged agent typed, "Owens is escalating. Need to accelerate discredit plan? Push unstable angle." Another message allegedly said, "If Kirk narrative resurfaces, contain aggressively." Were the logs real? Nobody could prove it. But they were convincing enough to terrify people. Supporters screamed it was the smoking gun. Critics scrambled to debunk it. But the FBI? Silent. Again then came the second drop, blurry. Screenshot of an alleged email chain between a bureau contact and a journalist. One line was unmistakable. Shift focus from Owens's claims. Stress emotional instability. Push unhinged narrative. That email spread like wildfire. Even journalists began nervously asking, why does this look real? Candace herself only fanned the flames. On Twitter, she wrote, "They've been writing the script for years. You're just now seeing it." And then came the footage that tipped the internet into hysteria. A grainy surveillance video leaked onto Reddit. ALLEGEDLY showing two plainclothes agents outside Candace's home at 2 a.m. They leaned against a black SUV, speaking quietly. The captions claimed one of them said, "She won't last another week." Within minutes, the video went viral. Was it doctored? Was it real? Nobody knew. But the silence from officials gave it power. Millions were convinced Candace was under surveillance. Her next tweet was short but bone-chilling. "Yes, I saw the SUVs. Yes, I know I'm being watched. Tick-tock." Now the fear wasn't just online. Met was physical. Supporters began showing up at FBI offices with signs reading, "Release the truth. Hands off Candace and stop the frames." Others begged her to drop the file immediately before it was too late. Celebrities started weighing in. Kanye West declared, "They silenced me. Now they're trying with her." Pray for Candace. Elon Musk tweeted, "Transparency or collapse. Release it all." Even Nicki Minaj went live on Instagram saying, "Don't clown her. Y'all don't know what's really going on behind those doors." And then came the biggest reveal, yet Candace admitted on her show that she had set up an auto-release system. If she went silent permanently, the file would unlock online. The moment she said it, the internet turned her story into a ticking time bomb. People flooded forums, refreshing every hour, convinced the drop was coming. Now this wasn't just a scandal, it was a countdown. A digital clock everyone could feel, but nobody could see. And as the internet split into chaos, one truth became undeniable. If Candace Owens was lying, it was the most elaborate lie of her life. But if she was telling the truth, then the FBI wasn't just after her, they were after all of us. The public reaction was like nothing anyone had ever seen. Within hours of Candace Owens announcing her so-called auto-release file, the internet was split down the middle. The streets were filled with protesters, and the media industry itself was at war. This wasn't politics anymore, it was survival. Her supporters transformed overnight into a digital army. Thousands of people changed their profile pictures to Candace's face, stamped with the words, "Protect her." Twitter and TikTok became flooded with montages of her live stream clips. Set to dramatic music, captions screaming, "She's risking her life for the truth." Entire Reddit threads were dedicated to countdowns, speculating when the file might unlock. Some users swore they had already seen fragments of the archive. Others insisted the file was a dead man's switch, ready to blast across the internet the moment she disappeared. One TikTok of a fan sobbing while whispering, "If they silence her, we'll know she was right," hit 25 million views in 24 hours. YouTube exploded with breakdowns, like the Candace Owens Doomsday File explained, and what happens if she vanishes tonight. What happens if she vanishes tonight? But the critics weren't quiet either. MSNBC and CNN anchors openly laughed, calling her a paranoid showman addicted to attention. Progressive influencers mocked her countdown posts with memes, tweeting things like, "TikTok, more like clickbait o'clock." A viral post read, "Candace Owens doesn't need the FBI to silence her own ego, we'll do it." That jab racked up 400,000 likes. Yet even her critics seemed unsettled by one thing: the FBI's refusal to comment. For every joke about Candace being unhinged, there was always the question, if she's lying, why don't they prove it? That silence made skeptics squirm. Meanwhile, celebrities poured gasoline on the fire. Kanye West doubled down, tweeting, "They came for me. They're coming for her. Next is you." Elon Musk replied, "Release it now. Stop holding back." Even Nicki Minaj jumped in, warning her fans on IG Live, "Y'all can laugh, but there's truth in what she's saying. Be careful." The political world descended into chaos. Conservative congressman posted, "If anything happens to Candace Owens, it proves the FBI is corrupt beyond repair." A senator tweeted, "Every American should demand answers right now." Liberal politicians dismissed her as reckless. But their words only poured fuel on the fire. To her fans, every denial was proof of a cover-up. And then came the streets. In Washington, D.C., protesters showed up outside FBI headquarters chanting, "Hands off Candace." In Dallas, crowds held signs reading, "Release the file and truth over frames." Videos of these protests went viral, some showing confrontations between demonstrators and law enforcement. But the most chilling moment came when an alleged voicemail leak hit Twitter. A distorted male voice, left on what was claimed to be Candace's office phone, said, "You've said enough. Stop now or you won't get another chance." The clip spread instantly. Supporters called it the smoking gun. Critics dismissed it as staged. But the timing, dropping just hours after her SUV surveillance footage had gone viral, was eerie beyond belief. At this point, every time Candace tweeted, the internet collectively held its breath. When she went silent, panic erupted. And when she posted again, her words sent shockwaves. One night at 2:17 a.m., she tweeted just 5 words. "They're closer than you think." Her followers begged her to go into hiding. Skeptics screamed she was spiraling. But everyone, even her enemies, felt that same gnawing dread. What if she wasn't lying? Because if she was telling the truth, then every meme, every joke, every mockery would vanish the second that file dropped, and the country would never be the same again. And then came the final twist, the move that transformed this scandal from a firestorm into something that felt like a doomsday countdown just after midnight without warning. Every single one of Candace Owens' accounts lit up at the exact same time. Her Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even her dormant YouTube community tab all posted the same chilling message. On a black background in stark white letters, "If I disappear, release." Beneath it was a strange, encrypted-looking link. Clicking it did nothing, it led nowhere. But the implication was clear. This was the rumored auto-drop system. The internet went berserk. Millions of people swarmed to the link, refreshing it obsessively, convinced it was seconds away from unlocking the mother of all bombshells. Hashtags like #OwensFile, #The Countdown, and #Release It Now rocketed to the top of Twitter worldwide. Telegram groups claimed to be decoding the link, swearing it was programmed to unlock on a specific date. TikTok edits dramatized it as a ticking time bomb, with captions reading, "The moment she vanishes, the truth detonates." And then came the leak that froze everyone's blood. A shadowy Telegram channel dropped a video clip of Candace, allegedly filmed just days earlier. She sat in what looked like a dim hotel room, hair pulled back, no makeup, her voice trembling but defiant. She stared directly into the camera and said, "This may be the last video I ever record." The FBI is framing people. The Kirk shooting wasn't random. And yes, the file is real. It's safe. And when it comes out, there will be no going back. She paused, looked off camera, then whispered, "They're already here." The video cut off abruptly. The clip spread across Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, everywhere. Supporters screamed it was her final warning. Critics said it was staged. But the haunting words, "They're already here," became a rallying cry, plastered across protest signs and TikTok captions. And then Candace's official Twitter account posted one last, bone-chilling update. Tick. Tock. Within 2 hours, the tweet racked up 30 million views. And then, nothing. Silence. No live streams. No new posts. No sightings. Candace Owens went completely dark. Theories went nuclear. Was she in hiding? Had she been taken? Was the FBI already moving to stop the file from dropping? Some swore the link she posted was already activating. Others insisted the real file was already in circulation, waiting for the right signal. But the truth is nobody knows. All we know is that Candace Owens has drawn the battle lines. She's staring down the most powerful agency in America with nothing but a file, a countdown, and the internet watching her every move. And the cliffhanger is unbearable. Because when that link finally opens, whether tomorrow, next week, or never, it won't just destroy careers. It could bring the whole system crashing down. The only question left is, will she live to see it? And now, we are at the edge of the cliff, looking straight into the darkness, waiting for the explosion that may never come, or may come so suddenly it shatters everything we thought we knew. Candace Owens has gone silent after warning the world that she holds a file so devastating it could expose the FBI as corrupt, manipulative, and complicit in framing American citizens. She's left us with one haunting message: if I disappear, release. So now I turn to you, because this isn't just a story you're watching on a screen. This is history unfolding in real time. Do you believe Candace Owens actually has the receipts, the memos, the emails, the recordings that prove the FBI framed people, orchestrated events, and silenced dissenters? Or is this the most dangerous performance of her career? A paranoia-fueled countdown designed to stir fear, outrage, and attention. And here's the terrifying question we all have to ask. If she really has been silenced, what happens when that link activates and the file drops? I want you in the comments right now. Debate, speculate, argue. If you believe she's telling the truth, say why. If you think she's spiraling into delusion, say why. Don't hold back, because if the file detonates, these conversations will be the only record of what we all knew before the storm hit. Smash that like button if you think Candace should stop playing games and release the file now, while she still can. Subscribe and hit that notification bell, because when the truth breaks, whether tonight, next week, or never, I'll be here breaking down every word, every screenshot, every hidden clue that tells us how deep this goes. Because make no mistake, this isn't just another Candace Owens controversy. This isn't a stunt. This isn't even politics anymore. This is a countdown. This is a war between one woman and one of the most powerful agencies in the world. And I'll leave you with the same haunting thought Candace gave us. They're already here, if she never speaks again. Will that prove she was lying all along? Or will it prove that she told the truth? Then the truth was too dangerous to survive. The clock is ticking. The file is waiting. And when it drops, nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever be the same again. Nothing will ever be the same again.